Hi, my name is Steven,
It is I, Kevin.
And I am David, the eldest champion.
and we are the Brothers Born.
We invite you to bear witness as this most unlikely of throwdowns is about to commence.
Hey, welcome back to Unlikely Throwdowns. This is your host, Steven.
Also, it is me, Kevin.
Excellent. We thought it's the end of the year. Y'all probably got a lot of stuff going on with the holidays and such. So rather than doing an Unlikely Throwdown today, we thought we'd just reflect on the year we had. We
It's
opened
kind
up.
of,
Go ahead.
kind of like how, like in the old days when you had those sitcoms and like at the end of the season, you'd have like a a show or something like that. We're
Oh,
not doing the clip
yeah.
show. We're not doing the clip show, but they kind of recap certain things, like things like that was kind of regular recap the season. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna kind of recap our season of unlikely throwdowns here, um, and hopefully, I guess I'll be good. We'll be picking it up again next year, very shortly.
Yeah. So let's go back, shall we? On June 4th is when our first one was published. So we only did a half a year's worth of throwdowns, really. Um, but we started off with Princess Zelda versus Groot. That was a draw because was a judge and he loves draws. He can't commit, so he often makes them a draw. So I don't know. I think
And it's only been twice, but yeah, you're right.
that was a good one. I think it's an interesting concept. If I went back and did it again, I had Princess Zelda. I think she would still win, but uh, it was, at the time that was pre. Well, Tears of the Kingdom had come out, but we recorded that prior to that game coming out, I think. So even though we published it in June, so Tears of the Kingdom may have changed the way you may have ruled that one, but I don't
Um,
know.
maybe I don't know. I've been playing Tears of the Kingdom. I was actually playing before we started recording. Um, she hasn't done a whole lot yet, so
Okay.
well, no, you know what? Maybe, maybe,
But
yeah.
it was a good throwdown. And then after that one, which was a draw, we did move into superheroes with Ms. Marvel versus Poison Ivy. Poison Ivy took the win on that one with Dave. He won that. I think at the end of the day, we decided the ability to manipulate plants was more powerful than manipulating physical matter the way Ms. Marvel does. Now that I think about it, that sounds foolish when I say it, but Poison Ivy did win that one.
See. That's when a lot of these when they're judged and stuff. When I lose, most of the time is I don't like it, but I accept it. But
Yeah.
that was one of the ones where I still feel that Miss Marvel should have had that one. I'm sorry, like, and I am biased because I'm the one that was fighting or using Miss Marvel. So I guess I
You
can't be
also you also
objective
ha-
on that.
you also hate like DC characters, generally speaking. You're not a fan.
I don't want to say I hate DC characters, but I just I don't know. I don't think Poison Ivy is particularly interesting. But that even has nothing to do with it. I just feel like I don't know. I just feel like Miss Marvel should have won that one personally. Um,
Well, she didn't. So
and it probably has more to do with the fact that I just like Miss Marvel. I don't know.
yeah. Well, it's okay. You got your revenge in the next one when you did Captain Hook versus Chase from Paw Patrol. I did Captain Hook. I was so excited about this one because he was kind of a character that everyone knows but forgets about. I was like, this is gonna be great. And then you had to pull in this stupid character that everyone hates, probably, Chase from Paw Patrol. And you didn't even want Chase to win, and neither did David, but he still won because we just couldn't dispute the fact that he is like so crazy powerful. He's got too many freaking gadgets, man.
That's so true, dude. Man, we really should put Chase against Inspector Gadget instead.
Oh yeah, dude. Or versus the Gundam, which we're gonna get to a little bit later. But uh yeah, so Captain Hook, I took the loss there, but whatever. I got my revenge in the next episode. Katara from Avatar: The Last Airbender versus Ursula from the Disney's Little Mermaid, and I'm proud of that one. I think that's a no contest there, in my opinion. But I also
Yeah, no, David had some good arguments, but it really that one, yeah, that one to me was kind of it wasn't much of a contest just because some abilities that Qatar had just Ursula couldn't contend with.
Yeah. Um, yeah, dude. I know they're both. I think that was our first stipulation round too, right? Because they were both water characters.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I remember that now. That's right. The next stipulation round we did was so basically, listeners, in case you didn't listen to every episode, we did a couple random throwdowns, and then we gave each other rules we had to follow. So Kevin gave David and I the rule that we had to use only characters that were involved with water somehow, or no, it was an element. To be involved, they have to use an elemental power, and David and I just happened to both
Yeah,
choose
both
water
use water.
characters. The next one was I gave the stipulation that they had to have some sort of robotic or android part. And Kevin chose Jax from Mortal Kombat. David chose Inspector Gadget. And I gotta say, I ended up selecting Jax, but this one was really tough for me. And thinking about it now, I think I'd still choose Jax, but Inspector Gadget is pretty incredible, actually. Um, he's definitely got some talent that would be it'd be hard to contend with. That one was very much almost a draw for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. I don't know. I felt like that one was pretty obvious.
I don't know, man, dude. Like, yeah, Jax got those plasma arms or whatever, but Inspector Gadget did have he had so many freaking gadgets. I think that's what it was. I got so lost in the number of gadgets that he had that I sort of just couldn't keep it all contained. But J Jax for the win there, and I still stand by that. It was a tougher one to judge. And then David gave the stipulation of some sort of either sidekick or henchman character. So we did Captain Rex versus Oddjob. Captain Rex from Star Wars, Oddjob from James Bond. I lost this one. I think I was Oddjob. I lost, and I'm really bummed about that. But I guess I
Yeah,
get
but
it.
honestly, I don't. I mean, of course, I am partial because I was running with Rex, but I feel like that was kind of. I don't think there was much of an argument to be made that Oddjob would have won that just because of the more advanced weaponry that Rex would have.
Yeah, yeah. Oddjob is just so freaking cool, though, dude. It's like Captain Hook. Like they're just cool characters, and I'm really bummed that they lost.
Yeah, I mean, it's all right. It's all right. I'm sure next season we'll have some more opportunities to, to come up with some things. I do have some ideas for some special rule um matches.
Oh
So
yeah, for sure. I have a couple too. Some stipulations that were interesting. Um, but we also are very excited in listener submissions. We have a few of those coming down the pipeline. Next year we have actually quite a few that we're gonna do. Some of them are matches that were made, like the listener made the match they submitted to us, like they chose both characters, but some of them are just random characters. In fact, our last throwdown, Dr. Manhattan versus the Tick. Dr. Manhattan was submitted by somebody, and I was so glad when I got that because there's no way I was going to lose.
I
Um,
do. I'm so mad about that. So I agree with you. Dr. Manhattan definitely was going to win. It didn't matter, but it's kind of like I really wanted the Tick to win because he's just a fun character.
oh yeah.
And so, like after when soon you said Dr. Manhattan, I was like, I should have picked somebody else, like somebody lame. Like a wise man once said, "Cash rules everything around me. It's all about the money. Dollar dollar bills, y'all." Now, the Brothers Born are definitely not part of the Wu-Tang Clan, but the sentiment, well, it's still true. When it comes down to it, making content that we do can have some costs when it comes to equipment and certain fees. This is where you come in as a listener. No obligation here, but if you do like what we have and you would like to contribute a little bit of funds our way so we can improve our content, there's 3 different tiers of payment which you can use. The first one is a simple, cheap tier of 99 cents. Not too bad. Next tier would be $4.99, or if you're straight balling, $9.99 for the third tier. Now, there's no obligation here. We're going to do the content either way, but we definitely would appreciate a little help. Thank you in advance, and we look forward to providing more content for you.
So going back though, the next few were just random ones. They were not any stipulations we did. He-Man versus Sephiroth, and I chose Sephiroth. I was Sephiroth. David was He-Man, and um, He-Man won. And I'm really bummed about that. I was really excited about Sephiroth, dude. I'm like on this Final Fantasy VII kick because Rebirth's coming out in a couple months, and I thought Sephiroth was a good contender. Though if he was going to be beat by anybody, I suppose He-Man is a acceptable opponent. If Chase would have beat him, I would have lost my mind. But with He-Man, I guess it's okay. The next one was Shenlong Gundam versus Skeletor, and Shenlong Gundam was actually a listener submission. Thank you
That's right.
again.
Yeah, I forgot that's what it was.
Thank you again, Matt. Why don't you discuss that one a little bit? I'm a little bitter about that one still, so you can talk about it.
See, I don't know. That one was to me that was interesting because I could see where Shinlong would have won, and I think if it would have been like a normal sort of like character that Shinlong was fighting, maybe it really is just a Skeletor had that dark magic, and I feel like he just had that advantage with that. I'm actually a little bit surprised that I won that one. We had a guest judge for that, Brendan.
Yes,
Um, so I'm actually a little bit surprised I won that one because I don't know. Maybe if you picked a different Gundam instead of Shenlong.
dude. But like, also, Brendan was the judge, and I love Brendan. He's like my best friend. But like, because he's my best friend, he does whatever he can to make sure I lose. So, I think part of it may have had some bias there, but
Well,
I'm not bitter.
well, I will say I'm bitter about that one for one in one sense, in that of course Skeletor won because Skeletor is like a significantly smaller person than a giant Gundam, right? So we showed that an individual person, human-sized person, could defeat a giant robot. And the problem with this is now if I ever choose a giant robot, I can't use the fact that they're a giant robot as the main advantage on account that we already had a giant robot defeated by someone who isn't a giant robot. And it makes me upset because I thought about using a giant robot type character at one point, and I was like, oh no, they were just going to beat me just like I did with Skeletor.
I'm gonna find some quick agile guy who could teleport. Basically, what we learned this year is teleportation. That's it. If you can teleport, you got it, dude. There's no. That's just like the magic power of all these. Skeletor, Dr. Manhattan. I think there was another one. I think too.
I don't know that Dr. Manhattan's win had anything to do with him teleporting. No.
Could be that he is basically a god, but the next one was interesting. I felt like I liked this one because it brought it back down to earth a little bit. A lot of our um throwdowns were, people with special powers. The next one was just a giant turtle versus a gunslinger. Raphael versus the man with no name.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that throwdown. I think you are bitter because you lost, but
Dude, all I'm saying is he has guns. All right. He
well,
has guns.
it goes
Raphael
back
does not.
it goes back to your giant robot thing though. He's a giant robot. You could just say that, but it doesn't always, make the difference.
Guns
Talking
faster. Gun is faster than a scythe or a size. All I'm saying.
Yeah, but not as like stealthy as a ninja turtle. So
I'd say of all my losses, that's the one I'm most bitter about.
that one stung the worst, huh?
That one stung the worst.
Well, that's okay. The next one stung me the worst, I think, more than the Sephiroth one. Zartan from G.I. Joe versus Willy Wonka. How on earth was Willy Wonka losing that? Ugh. Like, especially, dude, Willy Wonka is so cool. Speaking of, the Wonka movie just came out. I'm really excited to see it. I haven't yet, but hoping that it's getting really good reviews, actually. I'm surprised. I thought it was gonna like be a flop, but it's good.
Kylie saw it. She seemed to like it.
I gotta check it out. Um, I love Willy Wonka. I love what he stands for. Other than enslaving miniature people, I like what he stands for. As far as
And child murder. Don't forget the child murder.
no, he didn't actually murder any of them.
What? Well, I mean, but he set up the situation in which they would get murdered. He's like that guy from the Saw movies, only with children.
Do you want to play
evil.
a game?
He's evil. He needed to be destroyed. I mean, he got destroyed by Zartan, who isn't any better. But
dude,
yeah.
Willy Wonka is pure imagination. He is not evil. He makes.
Well, tell that to Augustus
happy.
Gloop.
He didn't die.
Who drowned in a river of chocolate.
He didn't die. He just got kicked out of the factory, bro. He made it okay.
Or Violet Evergar, whatever her name, or whatever's her name, the one that turns into a blueberry.
Um, but yeah, Willy Wonka lost to Zartan, and I'm still kind of hurt, but such is life. But Kevin, thank you. The next round, it gave us another draw. Listeners, um, whenever Kevin gives a draw, I just gotta say, we're so grateful that you stuck with us, regardless of the draws. That was Daryl Dixon versus Robin Hood. And I will admit that is a very challenging decision to make there. Like, I don't know. That really is a draw. I don't know that you really could make a case stronger for one versus
It's
the
a
other.
draw because
Oh,
Robin
they
Hood
drew their
draws his
bow.
bow.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah. That's speaking of, that is another stipulation round. Kevin gave us the challenge of only using people who have archery skills. And so that's how we came up with Daryl Dixon and Robin Hood. And then wait, yes, I gave a stipulation the next round, which I don't think I'll ever do this again, but I said a team match, which
Yeah,
was
that was
great.
hard. That was
But
hard.
with a team match, we had to split it into two episodes. We did the Constructicons from Transformers versus what are they called? The Huntresses from Ruby.
Yeah. Well, Team Ruby from
Team Ruby.
Ruby.
Team Ruby from Ruby. That was a tough one. I don't know. I I didn't I didn't make a draw, obviously. I said the Constructicons won, but I don't know, I had a hard time coming with a decision on that one. I think the Constructicons definitely had the upper hand in that they're giant robots, and well, they're actually little robots, but together they make Devastator, and the abilities David mentioned. I think Mixmaster kind of just like he like made the win for me. But Team Ruby is pretty incredible, and I don't know, that's a tough one for me. But
Honestly, my biggest disappointment with Ruby losing, aside from the fact that, you know, well, no, see, I really didn't care that much because I do like the Constructicons. As you know, I'm a big fan of Decepticons from Transformers, so I
yeah,
wasn't upset about that. But the only thing I was upset about regarding Team Ruby losing is just that they're just such an interesting team. They're such a cool franchise, and I really wanted to sort of highlight that to get more people interested in that show because I really liked it. And sadly, they were defeated. But at least they were defeated by the Constructicons. I'm okay with that.
yes, yeah. So sometimes when you lose, it's like you're more okay with it based on the character. You're like, okay, like obviously I wanted to win, but I'm cool with that person beating my guy. Like that, yeah, I get that. I did not feel that way with Captain Hook and Chase, but most of the time I get that. And the next one we did, it was a win for me. I'm pretty excited. Mothra, like the kaiju giant moth versus the Master Hand from Super Smash Brothers, and I'm just Kevin. I don't know. You tried real hard with the Master Hand, but you can't mess with Mothra, bro.
Dude, Master Hand, I just feel like he was like, I was so confident that he was going to be like OP, like nobody could really take on Master Hand. I guess instead of except for a giant moth, apparently.
So this goes back. Maybe this is like karma for you, since Skeletor beat Shenlong Gundam. Master Hand was not going to beat Mothra. Um,
So if I do use another giant robot or something like that, there's no guarantee I'll lose. Okay, good.
yes. Um, and then our final episode for the year, last time was The Tick versus Dr. Manhattan, which we discussed already. Um, listeners who submitted, that was a listener submitted one, and those who submitted names, thank you so much. We have quite a few of those coming down the pipeline. Now that we've kind of gained some traction this year, we're really excited to do those for you next time. What do you think our most popular episode was, Kevin?
Um,
All of those that we just discussed.
all the ones we just discussed because we also
Yes.
have like our the old
No, yeah. No, no, talk
drones.
about, we have some older throwdowns from on the Brothers Born, as featured on the Brothers Born podcast, which you can listen to. There's quite a few of those, but I'm talking specifically from the ones we just discussed. Which one do you think people just loved and ate right up?
My guess would be probably Groot and Zelda.
Ah, interesting, interesting. That one was second. Nope, third. Our most popular episode was He-Man versus Sephiroth.
Yeah, it makes sense. People like Sephiroth. Sephiroth.
They like Sephiroth? Who's Sephiroth?
I said Sephiroth. Shut up.
No, yeah, that one did really well. So thank you for everyone for it's got to be the big long sword, dude. You can't resist that. You just,
I think I mentioned in that episode though that the size of his sword would actually be impossible to wield like in real life.
and then versus He-Man's sort of power sword or whatever it is.
Yeah, it's like a normal size sword though.
Yeah, but
Except for how sword's too big. You couldn't possibly wield it. It's too unwieldy.
Sephiroth can. Well, I guess he can't. He-Man beat him. Um, dude, off a little tangent here. I was reading an article about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and it looks so dope, dude. It looks like it's gonna be like, I don't know. I've never been so hyped for a game since probably Breath of the Wild. I'm just so
Well,
excited about it.
well, speaking of He-Man, unrelated but also at the same time. So Apple TV, I don't have Apple TV, but I kind of want to get it because next year they're doing a this show called Masters of the Air or something like that, and it's like kind of like Band of Brothers, but like with bombers.
Okay, yeah, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, the guy
Right.
from Elvis is gonna be there.
Yeah. So it looks pretty good.
Austin
And so
Butler.
Tasha and I were talking about it. You know, my wife Tasha and I were talking about it, how we kind of want to watch it. We don't have Apple TV. So the other day she was like, sometimes she gets things a little confused, I guess, because she was like, "Oh, are we still? Do you still want to get Apple so we can watch Masters of the Universe?" I was like, "Masters of the Universe." I was like, "Since when you been into He-Man?" And she looks at me, she's like, "You know what I'm talking about? Shut up."
That's on Netflix, I think.
Yeah, it
Uh,
is. Which I can no longer watch.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
they
Netflix.
busted you, huh?
They busted me. Yeah,
That's
they
you were
busted me.
using my account.
I was using your account.
Oh
Yes,
shucks, I'm sorry that happened, bro.
that's all right.
Mom and Dad, I wonder if they got busted. Oh man, hopefully Netflix doesn't listen to our podcast. Or I guess it doesn't matter. They saw right through me. Oh man. Well, bummer. Um, so looking at all these throwdowns, I know we kind of mentioned who won and such, but the overall standings in third place, Steven, me. Um, now I could be in a better position, but Kevin had two draws on my throwdowns. So, I sort of fault Kevin for my lower standings of three.
That's
But
true. If you would have won both of those, you would have been tied with me.
yeah, but it didn't stop David from winning. He has four in second place. And I got to give him some credit because he actually wasn't even there for two of the throwdowns, and he had two draws. So if I really think about it, even though you are first place, congratulations, Kevin, you're in first place with 5 wins. Um, I gotta, I gotta give David some credit here because he had two draws, and he wasn't there for two episodes, and he still has only one less than you. That's, I mean,
That's true. Yeah, that is
that's
impressive.
that's impressive to me. So.
So realistically, he's probably our best competitor.
Yeah, I think so. Like I hate to say I'm the worst, clearly. But I I don't know. But David's just such a good that one episode. That's what it was with Constructicons versus Ruby. At one point, David said "we" like as if he himself was one of the Constructicons, and to me, like that's I think that's what took it for me. He became part of the team himself, and when you immerse yourself in Unlikely Throwdowns that much, I mean. That's significant.
That's true. That's true.
But so yeah, Kevin's in the lead with 5. David has 4. I have 3. In the new year, we're gonna start the counter over again, and I want to see if I can get on top this time.
So,
Um,
but I'm just in like total standing. Well, because when we did the throwdowns on our Brothers Born podcast, I think we were all pretty much tied then, weren't we?
I'd have to go back and check. It's been
I
a
think
little
we were
while,
pretty much tied.
so I'll have to do the standings on those at another time. But yeah, but you did pretty well. Good, congratulations, Kevin. You get the cup this year. You get the championship belt.
Championship Cup. All right. Well, we have to record a new intro where I discuss how I'm, in fact, the ultimate champion instead of David, because
Ah,
since I did win this year. Um, but yeah, I'm looking forward to doing it again next year. I think it'll be fun. Hopefully, have some more. I'm going to try not to do so many ties.
yes,
Um,
please. Yeah.
it's hard though. You guys, like you guys had some compelling arguments. Which throwdown would you say is your favorite overall over the year?
Okay, like the which one that like just really hit me in the core, spoke to my soul. Like the coolest battle. Let's see.
I know for me,
Yeah, go ahead.
it
You
was
go
the
first.
Captain Hook Chase one because that was just it was such a weird, by far our strangest matchup. It's
Yes,
such an odd matchup, and on a couple different levels. But I thought that one was just kind of, I don't know, it was funny to me. It was just a funny one to do. The thought of this like, you know, terrible like ultimate pirate guy getting beat up by like a little puppy with like a police outfit. Just dude, if I was gonna see one in real life, I think I'd want to see that one in like live action.
it would be entertaining for sure. I think my favorite, even though I lost and I'm really bitter about it, I think the most interesting one for me was Zartan versus Willy Wonka. It's another one that's just like super out there, like definitely the most one of the more unlikely of the throwdowns. Like some of these are like they're all unlikely throwdowns because they're never actually going to happen in real media. But some of them are a lot more unlikely than others. For example, yours, Chase versus Captain Hook. And I think Willy Wonka versus Zartan is never going to happen anywhere else. So,
No, I would also
um,
say Man with No Name versus Raphael from Ninja Turtles is also
yeah.
up there with very pretty much very impossibility here. But like, you know, Poison Ivy versus Miss Marvel, I could see that actually being like a crossover event of
Oh
some
yeah.
sort. Like I could
Yeah.
see that happening. So yeah, for sure.
So, there's actually we were talking about doing a Christmas episode at some point in time. Um, and I was looking at Christmas characters yesterday. And I discovered, I think I might have mentioned this before, but I forgot about it and rediscovered. There's a Reddit thread called Who Would Win? And they do the same thing we do. Um, but they like add a little more flavor to it. It's kind of interesting. You should look it up sometime. Uh, so that's a good one. Then of course there's the epic rap battles of history, but those are different in that they are characters that are intentionally like kind of well matched, like Terminator, RoboCop, Einstein, Stephen Hawking. Like those are or our spin on it is like totally random. That's what we try to do. And then of course we have a couple matchups from the listeners, but those are for the most part pretty random too. So, um, yeah, it's we thank you for hanging out with the Brothers Born and the Unlikely Throwdowns podcast. And we do have another podcast, the Brothers Born podcast, that we kind of slowed down a little bit this year, but we're trying to try and pick it up a little more this next year with the Brothers Born. So check that out, Brothers Born podcast and Unlikely Throwdowns. Where can you find both of those, Kevin?
On our website, brothersbornmedia.com.
Yes, and they're available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcast, and Anchor, and I think there's one other one, but trying to make a wide spread there. So
I will say because before when we only had the one podcast, so it was kind of, this year, of course, we introduced the website, so there's a place where we can pick everything up. I also have some other things on there. We got some blog posts that you and I did.
yeah,
I actually been working on some other, like a little quick article about Zelda. I really need to get that posted for you guys. But I'm hoping next year we get even more some stuff. I'm really hoping for some more content. I know, I think we mentioned it before. I know you've got a podcast project that you should be hopefully coming out probably maybe mid next year.
hopefully, yeah. I've been working on a D&D podcast that's gonna hopefully be released next year. It's a little more of an undertaking than what we're doing here, but I'm pretty excited about it.
So
So
we look forward to that, and then hopefully we can get some other more stuff on there. Definitely we'd like to have more guests too. I think
yeah,
we're going to try to have some more guests.
So if you're interested in being a guest, let us know. At the very least, if you have some throwdowns, please submit them. You can email us at brothersbornpodcast@gmail.com. Or you can do it from our website or our Facebook page. And yeah, we'd love to hear from you. So thanks for hanging out. This was fun. A nice little recap. And we'll catch you in the new year.
Yes, we will.
All right. See you later, everybody.
Bye.